Today I decided to take the day off from work. I was feeling sick and needed some time for myself. My grandma happened to also be at my house that day. Since I was not feeling well, I decided to take a nap. After dozing off, I woke up to a very strange sound. At first I thought it was a tree branch banging on a window. I got out of bed to check it out and make sure everything was okay. I was very confused and half asleep, but I managed to turn on the hallway light. That was when I heard the loud banging sound again. This time, I realized the sound was coming from the basement, down the stairs. I was terrified, but I knew I had to see what was making that sound. I slowly opened the door, which led to the basement. That's when I saw the other door down the stairs getting axed down. My heart skipped a beat. I saw two pairs of eyes looking through the cracks in the door that were made by the axe. I quickly slammed the door and ran to my grandma's room to wake her up. I rushed her to the bathroom, opened the closet so she can go inside, and locked the bathroom door from the outside. That's when I heard the downstairs door swing open. I instantly ran to the closest bedroom and jumped out the window from the second floor. Luckily, I didn't get injured from that height, and I was able to run to my neighbors for help. I explained the story to them, and they called the police. When the police answered, they put me on hold, which was unusual. At this point, I got my neighbor and next door neighbor to help check out the house to see if my grandma was okay. After exploring the house for some time, I realized that the two strange people were gone. Some of the valuable items in the house were missing, but most importantly, my grandma was fine. The door to the basement was completely axed down. When the police finally arrived, they found no trace of the two robbers. They were never seen again. It terrifies me to imagine what would have happened if I did not wake up that day. I am not really home alone on Friday nights. On this particular day, the weather forecast predicted lots of rain and thunder. Also, my parents happened to be out of town for the night. I decided to throw on a movie in the living room to pass the time. After finishing the scary movie, the storm outside started getting worse. I got off the couch, a little scared from the movie, to make some popcorn. Just as I was about to get the popcorn from the microwave, there was a loud lightning strike outside my house. That's when my heart almost stopped. I could see the dark silhouette of a man standing outside the back door to my house. It was clear the man outside was watching me, because as soon as I saw him, he started knocking on the door. Before my parents left, they told me no one was coming to my house this weekend. This scared me, because why would anyone be at my house late at night during a thunderstorm? I decided to not open the door and to walk to the living room, waiting till the man left. When I entered the living room, I will never forget what I saw next. I could see the man's face staring straight at me through the living room window. I picked up a pillow from the couch and threw it at the window right where the man was. I then sprinted upstairs to my room. I quickly locked the door and waited for what seemed like 5 minutes. After a while, I started to feel safe again, so I made my way back downstairs to see if the man was still outside. I quickly walked to the door and put my eye to the peephole to look outside. That's when I could see an eye staring back at me. This terrified me, so I backed up from the door. I knew it must have been the same man. I picked up my phone to call the police and yelled at the man to leave since the cops are on the way. At this moment, I needed to get out of sight, so I ran to the bathroom and locked myself inside. After a few minutes, I heard the police sirens outside and my doorbell ringing. I opened the door for the cops and told them everything. After searching for like 20 minutes, the police found a strange man. Later that day, the police informed me that the only thing the man kept saying was, "I have to get inside the house." My cousin and I always like to hang out on Friday nights. This time it was just like any other day, only it was raining. Having nothing to do, we decided to go down into the basement and play some pool. When we were on our second game of pool, we heard a sound coming from one of the basement windows. At first, we thought it was a cat, so we didn't really care about the sound. About 45 seconds later, we heard another knocking sound coming from a different window. This time we actually got scared and decided to check it out. I walked over to the window and looked outside, but I couldn't see anything. The darkness and rain kind of freaked me out. We decided to stop our game and run upstairs to the second floor. After a while, we did not hear any more noises, so we started playing Truth or Dare. The first dare was a prank call to a pizza place. As we both were waiting for the pizza place to pick up the phone, we heard the back door to the house slowly open. That's when we also heard a quiet, raspy laughing that sounded like it came from an old woman. This really scared my cousin and I, so we both ran to his room and closed the door. We barricaded the door with a chair pushing against the wall. At this point, we could hear lots of noises coming from the kitchen. There were drawers being opened and objects being thrown. My cousin texted his parents to make sure this was not some sort of prank, but shortly they both replied back saying they were both at work. This was when my cousin and I realized there was a stranger in the house, so we were in danger. But by then, it was too late. We could hear footsteps outside my cousin's room. We both quickly picked up a pencil, our only self-defense weapon we had. After that, it all went quiet and we could hear breathing coming from the other side of the door. My cousin decided to look under the door to see if there was a person on the other side. As he slowly looked, he could see the feet of an old woman standing on the other side of the door. The old woman was just standing there and staring at the door. After 30 seconds of sitting in quiet, the old woman decided to try and open the door. That's when I decided to bang on the door as hard as I could in hopes of scaring the old woman to leave. After hitting the door, we both heard footsteps running away and we heard the back door of the house slam closed. We knew the old woman must have left, so we decided to go see if we could see her as she was exiting the backyard. Surprisingly, when we looked outside, we couldn't see anyone. Luckily, she never returned to the house after that. The one thing that scares me is that we were probably being watched by her in the basement earlier that day.